Hi friends. Do you struggle to set aside money for taxes? Join me as I walk you through the simple system I use to never fall behind. My name is Lucas and welcome. Now, long before I started helping clients fix their finances, probably for about the first 9 years I was in business, I used to put off paying my taxes for as long as possible. And of course, because I would have a huge tax bill at the end of the year that I couldn't pay, I would rack up a ton of fees and penalties. To be honest, I'm allergic to administrative work and budgeting. It's just so boring. So I came up with a simple solution to set aside money for taxes that works in the background and requires very little effort. So let's get into it. As business owners, we have personal taxes and business taxes to maintain. So when we have a ton of credit cards, banks, and bank accounts, we're making our finances much more complicated than they need to be. So the solution? Separate and simplify your business and personal finances. I teach all of my clients to have one credit card and checking account for their business and one credit card and checking account for their personal life. Everything else is just a distraction, so I invite you to close it all out. By separating the two, we instantly simplify and organize our finances. Now, all personal expenses are in one place, all business expenses in the other. This makes tracking your expenses and taking deductions and depreciation so much easier. Plus, we never commingle funds. So how does this help us set aside money for taxes? Let's move on to step 2. Now that our business and personal finances are separated, we need an easy place to set aside money for taxes. Now, when I set up a business checking account, they gave me a business savings account. And because the two are connected, it seemed like the obvious choice. Now, when a client pays me, the money comes into my business account, I immediately send a percentage to my tax account. It takes about a minute to do. So the idea here is to set up an account specifically for your taxes. Could be savings, could be checking, whatever's going to work for you. And as a bonus tip, give the account a nickname. Why? Well, when the account is just a series of numbers, we don't really have much connection to it. But when we nickname the account, we give it a personality. I nickname my tax account the Dough I Owe. My savings account is called the Pay Myself First account. And then I have the Biz and also my Lifestyle account. By giving each one of these areas of my life a nickname, I now actually have a connection to them, and I look forward to adding money to each of those accounts. Now that we're organized and have a place to stockpile money for taxes, we're ready for the third and final step. Every single time you receive money, whether it's 50 cents or 50 million, send a percentage to your tax account immediately. For example, when I receive a check for $1,000, I like to pay myself first. So I immediately send $250 to my savings account, then $250 to the tax account, $250 to my business, and $250 to my lifestyle account. By splitting the money, I always have enough to pay my taxes quarterly, plus I'm adding to my savings, my business, and my lifestyle simultaneously. Now, this is a small part of the Big Split program, and if you're interested, I teach it over a 1-week period. It's kind of like a financial boot camp. We start on a Monday and finish by Friday. Over 4 sessions, it's just you, me, and your finances. No group chat and no communities. Plus, you'll receive 6 check-in calls over the first year to ensure that you succeed. If you're interested, comment the Big Split and I'll send you some info. Now let's get back to the lesson and figure out what percentage you can send to your tax account. According to the Internal Revenue Service, most businesses pay between 15 to 25%, and I think you're going to be pretty safe if you're in that range. Personally, I like to err on the side of caution, so I set aside 25%. And because I don't actually need that much for my taxes, I now have a surplus in the account. And that feels pretty good knowing that I'm covered in case there's any tax emergencies. So what percentage of tax do you pay? If you're not sure, check with your accountant, your bookkeeper, or look at last year's tax return. Then once you've picked a percentage, send that amount to your tax account every single time you receive money. Now let's recap the lesson and get you on your way. Step 1, separate and simplify your business and personal finances. Step 2, set up a tax account and give it a fun nickname. And step 3, Pick a percentage and send that amount to your tax account every single time you get paid. By putting a simple system and plan into place, you'll have plenty of money for your quarterly taxes. And you can say goodbye to late fees, penalties, and massive tax payments. And lastly, if you currently owe back taxes and you'd like to learn how to pay those off while keeping up with your current taxes, check out this video. As always, thank you so much for your time and energy. I'll see you in the next one.